everyone, talking about the top 5 best fragrances by Perfumer Alberto Morillas. And of course, I have not tried all of his. I think he has like hundreds. Very legendary perfumer who's done stuff for so many of the most famous major brands, as well as some smaller ones as well. But yeah, responsible for a lot of legendary ones throughout his history. And some of these you may not have tried or heard of. Some of them are very, very famous and popular, but I think that some are very famous and popular for a reason. And even if it ends up, even if the list comes across as more just like, well, I've heard of most of those, I do think it's valuable and interesting in fragrance to kind of get a feel for like the different things that a perfumer can do in terms of like, oh, wow, they did that one. And then you kind of start to pick up different styles, and maybe it'll inspire you to create your own fragrance. So yeah, jumping in, one M7 by Yves Saint Laurent. Very rich and classy masculine scent. It came out quite a while ago, but it feels very timeless to me. Has a classic feel, but it doesn't smell dated. So yeah, there's oud here, but it's like deep, warm, opulent woods, not animalic or barnyard style oud at all. I would say this is definitely one of the more wearable oud scents out there, even if you're not a fan of oud, which I'm not. Almost has this like ambery creaminess as well, then like smoky grassy vetiver, and just the whole thing is extremely well blended, just very refined. I would say it leans mature, but again, not dated, just kind of classy and has good longevity and projection. Next up, Daisy by Marc Jacobs. This is feminine leaning, sweet and fresh, versatile, just smells great, I think. Lower longevity and projection, but my wife wears this. I smelled it so many times over the last 10 plus years and I'm still not sick of it. I just think it smells really like a nice combination of easily wearable, clean, just basically appealing. A lot of people do think it's basic just because it was very popular at one point, but basically appealing in terms of just like, it's like an easy appeal. It's not too wild, but it's also, there's something a little bit unique about it. And also I think it comes across as sexy too. So I think that's a fantastic scent. That's definitely one of the best feminine designer scents, not only by him, but anyone. Next up, Acqua di Gio by Armani. I'm sure most people have heard of this, especially if you're older than Gen Z. This came out in the 90s, and I think like 1996 or something like that. And I don't think it smells dated at all today. It's fresh, appealing, and it doesn't have that kind of, some 90s clean fragrances have this almost like sterile cleanness, or just like more like not sterile so much as like laundry detergent fabric, like just like so clean that it's almost like, oh, okay. But this, I think, totally works with what it is. I was too young to be wearing fragrance when it came out, so I think it doesn't smell dated because I don't associate it with that, but if anybody doesn't remember it from that time, I definitely don't think they would smell this and be like, this must have come out 30 years ago or something like that. I can definitely see why it's still popular. It's very like uplifting and upbeat, but still has kind of this cool edge. Fresh without being like shower gel-ish, and even in a sea of so many other popular aquatic-ish fragrances like this that have come out now in the years between, like at this time, really still stands out to me in a good way. And honestly, this might have even been full bottle worthy for me if it worked on my skin. It didn't work with my skin chemistry, but I do really like it. Next, Memoire d'un Odeur by Gucci. This is an interesting scent with a mix of notes that I don't usually see in designer stuff. For example, chamomile. I've seen that definitely more so in Indian niche, but not that often in designer. This smells really well blended, and it's one of those scents where you can smell the individual notes in it, but they all kind of play their part and come together cohesively. I remember reading this is something that Harry Styles wears. I'm not sure if that's true, but I've seen it in a lot of places, and I feel like he maybe said that. Did someone just smell him at a meet and greet? I don't know, but I do think it fits with someone with his vibe as well too. It's kind of like effortlessly chill, but not like so sleepy, laid back either, or something like that. Definitely smells unisex to me, and it's like, yeah, relaxing and calming, but not at all boring. It makes me think of the idea of like eating biscuits in a bubble bath, but that sounds inherently more feminine leaning, and again, I think this is very unisex. And last, I'm pretty sure almost, or everyone has heard of this, CK One by Calvin Klein. Another 90s hit that I think still holds up today. Fresh and clean in a timeless way. And yeah, I think that this is, I would feel that way about, at least I would say, Acqua di Gio and CK1 from this list. But yeah, for including CK1, that it would be worth smelling whether or not you like fresh and clean scents. Just as somebody who's interested in fragrance, to have a reference point, because this is so mentioned so often in such a like timeless way, and something that is just good to know what it smells like, even if you don't. But yeah, fresh and clean, but still appealing, and not too like laundry clean either, but yeah, just kind of like a nice balance of everything. And that really started a trend or kind of made it more popular for that type of scent. And just, yeah, really, really good. And I think that I'm sure, again, I haven't smelled every fragrance by this perfumer. I'm sure there's lots of others that I could have featured, and there's a lot of others that I like, but I really wanted to choose ones that just like feel more objectively like the best and not just like, well, for my taste, that's good or something like that in this case. So, yeah, if you have any favorites by him, let me know what you think.